There's two separate origins that come together, right? The first one is that in 2011, my father passed away very suddenly, and he was an advertising guy. He was a very charismatic, charming, big personality, and was very committed to the idea that the image that you put out into the world was actually who you are. Now, I grew older and realized that wasn't exactly the case, but that it was something that really was a controlling thought for him, that if you could look good and feel good and smell good, that people would think you were good. I really needed to write about him after he passed away suddenly, and that sort of coincided with Mark Canton and 50 having a conversation that they had about creating a television show that was music-based and fast-paced and hard-hitting and gritty. And I think we all sort of came together. And one thing that I was sort of surprised by, and in such a beautiful way, was that Curtis and I hit it off immediately creatively. We began to collaborate and talk about the stories that we wanted to tell. And so the final product is really a blend of influences from my father's life and his early life. Curtis and I talked about in the character Ghost that Omari plays starts out on a corner and is headed toward the boardroom. I shouldn't say bedroom, boardroom. Corner to boardroom. And my father the same, not in terms of drugs, but when he was a very young man, a boy actually, he and his sister used to dance on the street for coins because they had no money. And so those things, going street to boardroom, my father ended up being, a businessman. That's really what the show is about.
I've done a few films, and I've produced the actual films. Yeah, like I've done 19 films I produced, and the opportunity to work with Mark Canton came up. We sat and we talked about doing something, and the development of the actual project started after he introduced me to Courtney, and we just ran with it from there. The depth to the details that we actually brought out and just those communications gave me an idea of who the characters were. So I started creating music right away. And the music that I created was like her soundtrack to the writing at that point. Because it was just sending her something I thought was interesting. Look at this, listen to this. And she's like, wow, this is going to be an amazing project. Because we just had things that we inspired each other all the way through the actual process. And then Omari, when the idea of trying to cast the actual project came up, he was like on the top of the actual list. He's like the first person that, Courtney actually has this binder that she had put all the possibles and people who she would actually look at as the actual character, and she called and she said that was the first thing that she actually had in mind. And I said, yeah, he is the guy. Like, so when they actually reached out to him, I was like, is there any way someone could give me his like cell phone number or personal number so I can call? Because I got to really make it happen. Like, it's different. You calling technical, doing regular business interactions. I want to call and ask for a favor. Because this is really what brings the actual project. The characters are so important, the actors that in these actual roles, because they have more time for character development. The depth to the actual acting is a lot. It's more exciting. Like, it was a period of time that actors would move away from television to be in film because of the actual production value of things. And now the shift with premium television, allowing the finances to be there for these kind of projects, are allowing Academy Award winning actors to be leads in television shows. So he fits right in with these guys as we go from here. You know what I'm saying? Like number one on the call sheet. I keep telling you about it, right? So but I mean, just the project overall, it's been a amazing journey for me and excitement, because I get a chance to tell Courtney, I say, for me, everything happens fast. I don't care what, no, it has to happen. Don't tell me it might happen. It has to, who I got to talk to. And I go in with that attitude, and then things actually happen. Because like when I got a chance to call her to tell her it's actually picked up, like it's going to happen. And it's a present for myself at the same time, because I know the kind of joy that's connected to the actual work, the passion that we did, that's there. So, I mean, it's just overall, it's really exciting, and I want everybody to get a chance to enjoy it. That's why I've been talking about it so much.
I feel like Courtney Kemp Agboh and Curtis Jackson, I feel like they taught me how much I needed this project. I don't, it's very honest and candid. I don't think that I knew as much, Curtis talks about the fact that a lot of actors were just, gravitating toward film for years, as you know. And because of the qualitative opportunities we had to play certain characters, not necessarily in quantity. It's never been my goal to play, 75 different characters by the time it's all said and done and I'm Sean Connery's age. My thought was just really have a good career of qualitative work and different work. Obviously I've played very different characters. And so it was also this thing as a young actor that you sort of had a perception about being in TV or being stuck to TV. Not just the qualitative opportunities characters were being written as in film, but also the fact that we just think when you're growing up, you don't want to be a sub roadie as a rapper. You want to be the head honcho. You want to be what 50 became. In a very similar way, as an actor, you want to be what Paul Newman became, what Sidney Poitier became. These are images that you have, and they don't fit within a 36-inch now, 36-inch TV that you buy from Best Buy. They fit on the big screen. And so they taught me just how much they felt my career had meant up to this point and what it was void of and what it needed and what God had destined for me. And so they both taught me a lot about the eagle, that was inside of Omari as an actor and as an artist. And I finally came to the project. I say finally operatively because when I first read it, my character stood out as brilliantly written. I was concerned about the other characters. I'm so athletic in my backdrop as an ex-ball player, and so I was thinking, does the whole team make sense? Ghost makes sense. The quarterback makes sense, but do the other players on the field make sense? And so I had to sit down and really talk to. I knew I'd find my way to 50, but I wanted to talk to Courtney and find out what she had envisioned for the entirety of this project. And it was a film. We cram it into 8 episodes. Perhaps in the subsequent years there'll be more episodes that are increased in number. But this is a film, and I truly learned. 50 said to me one day, Omari, this is your moment. And I've known many a person who's taken off. He uses the ski slope as the analogy. Mm-hmm. And he says, there's a bunch of people around when a person gets on the skis. There's a bunch of people around, and all of those, a bunch of people think that they're on the skis, but it's only one person on the skis. And he really taught me that, and equally Courtney was teaching me about what my destiny was. And she had this incredible saying that goes simple. It's okay, God. And so it did a lot for me because I equally had at the time someone praying a prayer that I embrace my power, pun intended. Mm-hmm. And then I get a show that I didn't know necessarily whether I should be a part of. And then as soon as I met Courtney, I couldn't wait to meet 50. And it's amazing that prayer came true. I finally embraced my power, again, pun intended.